For this video, we're going to learn how to create our own website with HTML and CSS through code.org's Unit 2 of CS Discoveries. So first, I want to make sure I'm at code.org, and then I'll click Sign In. And I'll need to enter the 6-letter section code. So if you guys don't remember what that is for your class, you can go to the Creative Coding Canvas page, and at the very bottom it tells you your class codes. Now the one I created this account for is 1A, but you guys might be in a different class. So go ahead and get whatever your class code is, and then you can enter it into code.org. And then find your name and put in your secret words. Okay, let me just go through this real quick. Okay, so right now it's set to Unit 3 Animation and Games, which is what we're currently working on in quarter 3. But if I want to go back to the website, I can click here on Computer Science Discoveries 1920. That takes me back to all the units. Now, Unit 2 Web Development, that's the one where it lets us make our website. So I'm going to go to Unit, and then I have all the lessons here. Now, each one of these lessons will tell you how to do different parts of the website. Okay, Intro to HTML is probably the best place to start to get just the basics, and then learn how to do headings, learn how to do lists, images, cleaning your code and debugging, and then starting your multi-page websites. Then it shows you how to do styling on these the last few lessons. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to jump ahead to the project, which you can do as well if you're just getting started or trying to finish up your website. You can go to the project, lesson 14, and then if you go to Final Personal Website, click on number 2, that'll take you to your website. Now, usually it'll get started with just your whatever pages you have and whatever files you have will be here on the left side. Anything that says .html is going to be an HTML web page. So right now I have one web page. So it's the only thing that's here in my files. So it's a blank web page, and here is what my web page looks like. If I hit refresh and save, nothing's happening because here's my basic website. Okay. Any basic HTML file, any new file that comes up should come up with all of this code here. This HTML here and this closing HTML tag at the bottom just shows you that you're using HTML, and then you have a head element here, and what goes in here is your link to your style sheet, and that's pretty much it. And for your body is where you're going to want to put all of your links to your other pages, all of your headings, all of your pictures, all of your text, everything, anything that you want people to see on your website goes in between the two body tags. So let's go ahead and add an extra web page. So if I go up here to add HTML, you'll see another file will pop down below here that says new1.html. And then I'll add another one, so we'll have 3 different web pages. I have index, new-1, and new-2.html. So if I click through them, right now they're all blank, but we can add to them later. We also have add CSS, which you will want one CSS file, and you can use that same file to style all 3 of your pages. So I'm going to hit add CSS, and here is my CSS down here, and here are my CSS rules. Okay, so we'll talk about CSS later, but for now, let's go ahead and go back to our index or our home page. So on our home page, it's called index.html. We can go ahead and put in whatever content we want in between the two body tags. So I'm going to go ahead and enter down, and let's start with maybe a heading. So headings, you can do any size between H1 and H6. And H1 is going to be the largest heading, and H6 is going to be the smallest. So I'm going to do an H1, and let's say all about me. And then remember, you always want to close your element out with a closing tag, and a closing tag has a slash before whatever the element tag is. You have H1 here, and then you have a slash H1. Remember to put these little brackets for your tags. Okay. So all about me, and then I'm going to go and do a smaller heading, but still large. So I'm going to do a H2, and I'm going to say basketball, and then I'm going to close it out with the H2 again. So H2, H2. Notice this is smaller than the H1. Then I can go ahead and let's say I want another H2, which is going to be another one the same size as basketball. I want this to be about my pets. And again, I close my tag out with a /H2 with the 2 angle brackets around it. And then let's do another one, H2, and we'll say video games, and then close it out with a closing tag with the /H2. So I've got 3 topics. I have basketball, pets, video games, and then I can talk a little bit about it or put in some pictures. So let's go ahead and after basketball, I'm going to put my cursor here, I'm going to give it some space, and after basketball, let's go ahead and put in a paragraph. Okay, I love to play basketball. Okay, so put in some information, and when I'm done, I close my paragraph tag like this. Okay, so my paragraph, any paragraph starts with the paragraph tag here, and then closes with a closing paragraph tag. So now it's a regular paragraph here. Then I can write about my pets. I'm going to go ahead and enter down and do a paragraph tag again, and then type about my pets. So I have 2 pet rabbits. Okay, I just had 6 babies on St. Patrick's Day. All right, so then I can close out my paragraph. So now I've got a paragraph about pets and then video games. So let's go ahead and put a little bit of information about video games. Okay, and then I'm going to close out my paragraph with a closing paragraph tag. Okay, so that's done. If I look over here, refresh and save, make sure you refresh and save every once in a while. And I've got some information about all 3. Okay, now I can go ahead and go over to my, a new 1 page. And this page can be about and once again, I'm going to put the content in the body section between the 2 body tags here. And then I can do another heading, okay, for this page. So this is another page. This one can be, let's say this one's sports. And then I can close out my heading. And then for one of your pages, it'll need to have a list. Okay, so let's talk about how to do a list. So it's a good idea to put this either on your home page or one of your other pages because a list is one of the requirements. There's 2 types of lists. There are ordered list and unordered list. Ordered list would be a list with numbers, so first, second, third. An unordered list is just a list with bullet points. So let's say I want to do a list about sports. Okay, so I'm going to do another heading, a smaller heading, and say my favorite sports. And then I'm going to close out that H2 tag. There we go. So I've got my favorite sports, and now I can do my list. So like I said, there's an ordered list and an unordered list. OL tag will be used for an ordered list. A UL tag will be used for an unordered list. Now remember, you usually want to have an opening tag and a corresponding closing tag. So I'm going to go ahead and enter down a few lines and do a closing tag for my ordered list. So I've got an ordered list opening, ordered list closing tag. Now anything that goes in between, all of my items in my list are going to be going between here. So to start a list item, you do an li tag, and I'm going to say basketball. And then I'm going to close out my li, my list item. Okay, so now it popped up over here, number 1, basketball, because I have an ordered list. Next, I'm going to list another one, and I'm going to say soccer, and then close it out with my closing li tag, and then I'm going to say volleyball. Let's see here, and then slash li, and then I'll do another one, football. Okay, now let's say I maybe want to do this as an unordered list instead, because really I don't know that I can list them as 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 as far as favorites. I think I like a lot of them about the same, so I'm just going to change it to an unordered list, which is UL, so I have to change both the opening and closing tag. Now it's just bullet points. Okay, so that's how you do your list, either an OL or a UL, and then a closing slash OL or slash UL, and then your list items in between that you want to show up with bullet points or numbers. Okay, so now I've got an index page, I've got a new page, and I'm going to move this up so we can see a little bit better. There we go. And then I've got a new 2, which doesn't have anything there yet. So let's have this one be about the pets. So my body section here, I'm going to say, let's do a h1 tag and then say my pets. And then we'll do a closing slash h1, and now we've got my pets here. And then I can do a smaller heading for each of them, and then another, whoops, I just messed this up. Let's fix that. H2. Your opening and closing tags have to match. The only difference is there's a slash on the ending one. Okay, let's do the other one. Slash H2. Okay, so now I've got 3 pages. There's not a lot of stuff here yet, but let's go ahead and put one more thing here, and then we'll show you how to do images in the next video.